in Montgomery, Alabama. Here, at a bus stop, a protest was begun by the most unlikely of revolutionaries, a stubborn and on that day tired woman, Mrs. Rosa Parks. In the South, not only buses were segregated in those days, but schools, hotels, restaurants, swimming pools, even drinking fountains. In the buses, segregation was flexible, marked by a flap on the back of a seat, variable at the whim of the driver. Rosa Parks was sitting in a black seat. A white man needed it. She refused the driver's command to move, and under a city bylaw was arrested. It wasn't a particularly unusual case. She was charged and fingerprinted, and normally would have stayed in jail until her case was heard. But this case wasn't usual. Rosa Parks was released on bail, arranged by civil rights workers, including her attorney, Fred Gray. In the very court where she was tried 18 years ago, Rosa Parks explained her stand.
I did this because I felt I was being violated as a human being. I had had a hard day of work on the job, and I was physically tired as well as just mentally vexed and sick of this type of thing we had to endure as a people because of our race. It did not seem right, it wasn't right, and I felt that I was being mistreated.
We knew that she was going to be convicted. But what was more important than her case per se, whether or not she was convicted or not, was the fact that between the time she was arrested on Thursday and the time of the trial on Monday, the black community had become so upset and disturbed over the bus situation and over Mrs. Parks' arrest until we had concluded that this simply was it, the straw that broke the camel's back, and that we were going to stay off of the buses until we could get some type of consideration. Because we had had meetings all that weekend as a protest for what had happened to Mrs. Parks. I think if there was any one point or one event in the civil rights movement that started in the 50s, you can pinpoint it to the Montgomery Bus Boycott and Mrs. Parks, who's here, and which was symbolized by this courtroom and her conviction in it.